Hey guys, Andrew back with another point. This is day 3 of my Soulfood series, and this episode is going to be particularly about, I guess, competition. So the last video was labeled competition. Without competition is no progression, and that was to just kind of get you thinking about, how the different classes are competing, and because they're competing, they're basically always helping each other grow in a weird way, because even though it seems like the good people, if you want to call them that, the people who again sell reasonable, decent products like food and cars and technology and houses and things like that. The good people, they're growing, and then they're actually helping the bad people out, even though it seems kind of like they're not. And this is why the bad people kind of hate the good people, because it's kind of counterproductive. There's a lot of ways we could do it better, but we need somebody to actually speak out and talk about it and get people to recognize and realize, that there are all kinds of changes that can be made, so that people or so that the two classes can kind of merge together, or not the classes, but the actual two polarities of good and bad people. And so what this video is about is pretty much just, one, how they work together, and two, the opinions that most people have, the opinions that most people in each category have. And the categories again are just the good people and the bad people. And so yeah, let's just start off with the bad people. The bad people, their opinion on the good people for the most part is, they are so focused and they're so busy, buying cars and buying houses and going on cruises and living the good life, that there's not enough thought, there's not enough being given to them. They want more to be given to them, basically. And it's, most of them have too much pride to just actually ask. Where you see them actually not having pride is when they just go sit on the corner and beg for money. And so they, for the most part, they have too much pride to ask for help. But having been around those people for the first big portion of my life, I know kind of how their conversations go. And it's pretty much just like, the freaking white collars, the good people, they they don't know real trouble. They don't know real struggle. They spend all of their life, worrying about freaking first world problems, or I think that's what it's called. First world problems is just like, oh, my freaking internet went out, and they're just worried about how they don't have internet for one day, while we're sitting here, worrying about how we're going to switch from one meal each day to one meal every 3 days, because we don't have enough money and our girlfriend just lost their job. And because we're the bigger man, we have to try and go out and work a double job, so that you can work your way back from one meal every 3 days to one meal every day. But then you have no free time, you can't do anything you want to do, and you just constantly have to work. And so they get super angry and frustrated, and most of them, they can't really put it into words, because it's just simply, this is unfair, this is broken, something's broken, I don't know what's broken, but why am I sitting here getting crushed? Well, there's all these people that are going to video shoots and just having a blast and just living their life. What is the reason? And so that's kind of the basic complaint that they have of the good people, is that they don't get enough help. There's not enough things set up to help them get out of a crappy situation, because they don't have high school diplomas, so they're stuck at minimum wage jobs, and they live in crappy areas, so their house keeps getting robbed every time they almost make it somewhere, and they're just straight stuck, and they can't really build up. And I mean, in my last video I was talking about how you build up, and for the most part you have to do it illegally, and so then half of them end up going to prison and going to jail, and that's even more unfair. So it's obvious why they're mad. Now, the reason that the good people are mad is because they're not working. They say, why don't you freaking work? All I had to do was start with my fast food job, and after I got my fast food job, I moved up to manager, and then I went and got a sous chef job, and when I had 2 jobs under my belt, I went and got a job in the medical field, and after I got a job at the medical field, I ended up working up, and then I was told that I would be able to, be a surgeon, but I had to first get my GED, and then, they found the loopholes in order to get themselves into a good position, and, it wasn't easy. It was hard-ass freaking work, and because they had the balls and the effort put in, they think that they deserve the spot that they got. They say, yeah, I got straight A's all throughout high school, and I have a bachelor's degree, so that means I deserve my location. And I don't want to be like hating on those people, but it's just like the reason they're mad at the bad people is because they didn't work. They just want people to help them out. They just want all these people who busted ass to help them out. So those are the 2 complaints. You have one people who want help, and you have another group of people who are just like, do it yourself. I did it myself. Why can't you do it yourself? And so that causes conflict between the 2 people, and that's why it's kind of really separated. But like I was saying, without competition, there's no growth, and there's always a form of competition going there in the polarities. That's why music has different genres. It has the rappers and the country being 2 polarities, and then it has like the rock stars and the singers being 2 polarities. And although they're so different and they attract complete different crowds, they build off of each other. They eventually grow into an entire new genre, like jazz, or something that combines them, a subcategory that just boom shoots off and reaches everybody's heart for a little while. And movies are the same way. It's like, well, we're gonna have our bad guy, the Sith, and our good guy, the Jedi, or like in Lord of the Rings, we're gonna have the elves and the dwarves and those people, and bad guys, we're gonna have the orcs and the goblins, and we're gonna make sure we have those 2 polarities, and they're gonna battle it out. But at the end of everything, it comes to a resolution in which pretty much, for the most part, the good just outweighs the bad and just conquers them. But, that's because if they had the bad guys win in movies, a lot of the time people are like, oh, come on, it would take a lot of the pleasure and enjoyment out of watching movies. So they kind of are stuck to strict rules. They have to make sure that the good guys win, or else nobody's going to watch their movie. But life isn't like that. Life ain't no typical movie. Life is orchestrated by the best producer that has ever lived, ever. At least, that's what my common sense tells me. And so, in our little fake movie we call life, the 2 sides are competing on moral standards. It's not necessarily a money competition, because like I said, we have the mafia that's making way more money than any white collar's making, other than like Disney, and Microsoft and Amazon. They're kind of, beating out the mafia. But either way, you have all levels of poverty and wealth on both sides of the scale. They're not actually fighting over money. What they're fighting over is a way of life. It's like one side wants to be able to do things one way, and the other side wants to be able to do things another way. The good guys, they kind of want, a level of prosperity. They want, people to be good. They want people to follow the law. They want people to obey. They want, nice cars, nice houses, they want all that things. But these people, they don't really care for a nice house, and they don't really care for, a good job, a good title. They just want to be comfortable. They want to experience life flowing nicely. So, a lot of them happen to use drugs and things to be able to get life to flow the way that they want it to flow. And that's only a temporary fix. And, a lot of them find that out when they overdose and die and, such and such. But the way that they're actually helping each other is that the bad guys are constantly making a point. They might rob a good person. They might, do a shooting or something like that. And, granted, those things are really bad and they're national tragedies, just like a terrorist attack. It's absolutely horrific. But at the same time, that's one side of the picture. That's the bad guys making their point. They're saying, yo, life isn't good. Life is messed up and life's bad. And the thing that stinks is that all of the good people know that. They say, I know life's bad. I know life's messed up. But I worked for what I got. And so that's where, what we're trying, when I say it like that, it makes it really obvious that there's a change that needs to happen. They need to, instead of just working, accepting their title, they need to help out the lower class. And, I have all kinds of ideas for how that happens, but you have a whole bunch of cities, mayors, presidents, senates, and they're all trying to do that. They're all trying to get these people to help these people out so that they can become part of the working class, and you can remove crime, and you can raise the amount of working people. And so I don't need to go into that on how the good people are going to help the bad people out. Just I want you to know that the bad people are helping out the good people. They're getting a message through. They're waking them up in a really violent and aggressive and abusive and destructive way. And from the same point of view, the good guys are trying to wake up these people. They're saying, hey, yo, you're like trying to blow up countries, and you're like trying to shoot up movie theaters and rob gas stations just to help your family. All I do is go to work, contribute to my society, wear a bit of a fake smile sometimes, and then I get to come home and my life is freaking awesome. I don't have anything to worry about. And so they're trying to show to the bad people that life ain't crap, life ain't bad. Peace of mind is there. It does exist, but you kind of have to work for it. It doesn't come for free. And so by spreading that message, then the people in the bad society, if you want to call it that, they pretty much start to realize, wow, there is more I could be doing. I am kind of being lazy. I am kind of being scummy. I am kind of, doing things bad way. And that's where karma comes into play, I think, is that, if they're selling drugs and stealing, they're going to stay stuck in that group because they're going to get stolen from and they're going to lose some of their profits. And some of them are going to, use their drugs and use their guns and ammo and stuff, so they're not going to ever fully build up. And, so it's just like everything in this movie called life, it's mutual. It's a competition. And although it's super competitive, it's the most competitive game ever, more competitive than any sport, so competitive that people drop bombs on each other. at the same time, we're still just kind of, helping each other out. But it's not on a economical plane. It's not on a cultural plane. It's just on a simple moral standards plane. It's on a way of life. It's just like, we think this is how life should be, and the other people say this is how we think life should be. And they can't ever come to a full agreement. And I don't know why. To me, it's pretty simple. These guys help out these guys, and these guys work a little harder so that these guys can stop having to work their butt off, and they can get a little bit of relief from stress. And, on top of that, we have to get rid of banks and all kinds of other stuff that are just using our money for basic profit. But those are all steps that we'll make in the next couple generations. In this generation, we need to stop killing each other, because all we're really trying to do is get a point across. If you open your ears and you listen, and you stop talking for a second and you just listen to what the other person has to say, like in any good relationship, then you're gonna understand their point of view. And when you understand their point of view, then they're going to be willing to listen to what you have to say. And so, we have all these super good people, like people who ended racism and people who ended women hate and stuff. And we think, those are really good people. But my personal heroes are like Hitler and frickin' I can't remember the person who orchestrated the 9/11 bombing, but they are trying to get a point across. I mean, sure, they're trying to say equality, unity, but they're trying to say, yo, equality, unity. Help us out. Give us something. And if you don't, we're going to show you that something's broken. And anybody who's willing to open their eyes and listen to that point of view has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books of crookery and secrecy and lies that they can look into and see that our government is kind of, more or less screwing those people over. They literally live in a war zone because it makes us money. And so, at the end of the day, we're all helping each other out in this little movie called life. And instead of being such polar opposites and we think of each other as enemies, we need to start thinking of each other as pieces to a puzzle. And as we fit together those pieces, then we can start to see the bigger picture come into play. And when we see the bigger picture, we can step back and stop trying to put it all together, stop trying to control it, and just look at it and just see the beauty in it. And, again, all of those things are going to take a couple generations. And what we need to do in this generation is simply stop freaking killing and hating and despising and talking crap on each other. Because no matter where I go, into a good home or a bad home, the bad people are talking shit on the good people, and the good people are talking shit on the bad people. If that stops, that is one tiny step for man and one huge leap for mankind. Alright? And so that's pretty much what I've been thinking about today. And like I said in the last video, if I think of anything else after this video, then I'll go ahead and put it in the description so you can look at it. But I'm pretty sure the video is already getting pretty long, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to, kind of get my point out there as quick as I can so that you can get back to doing whatever it is you're doing with your valuable time. And so I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. But think about that. Think about all the times that you talk crap on these other polarities, these other people, these other parties, and just think about how much of a change it could possibly make if you just opened up your ears and listened. And I know most people are going to be like, I do listen, I do. And yeah, I know, but if you listen, then you have to make a step. You have to actually make change. You have to get on YouTube and start doing something. You have to go grab a sign and make riots. You know, it's power to the people. At least here in America, we're supposed to take control of our government. We can't just let our government call all the shots, because we know our government is crooked and we know they're doing things super messed up, particularly for economical growth. And for some reason, they're still super duper duper in debt. So they're doing something wrong. And what they're doing wrong is nothing. We're doing something wrong. We are not standing up and making our point. And so, you know, that's kind of how it is. Sure, there's this person and this person and this person and this person that are doing stupid things, but take credit for it. Say, maybe I'm the reason they're doing that, this, and this. And then you're going to start to see the bigger picture kind of line up and be like, oh, wow, damn. You know, even though I don't have the power to just boom, snap, finish, good, everything's fixed, I can at least play my part. And if we get the whole entire world playing their part, then, you know, we're one step closer to a better world. And so, yep, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate you listening, especially if you listened all the way through. And I wish you the best of luck. And let's keep shooting for a better Gaia, a better planet Earth. Alright, peace out.